It's a rarity these days that marriages successfully last as long as yours had, or yours has. What makes that work for you?
Gosh, that's a mystery. I mean,
Go on.
giving marriage advice is something I'm not qualified to do. We've been married about 35 years, have 2 kids, and I feel very, very lucky. And now that I'm retired, we get a bunch more time together, and that's great. 2 or 3 things during my working career that I would talk with other executives is when your spouse calls, always take it. In a meeting, wherever you are, interrupt whatever you're doing, take the call. The feeling of availability is very valuable. And so I would do that and demonstrate that. The other thing was setting a budget of how many dinners and nights you were going to be away. 12 days a month, 15, 10, whatever it is, and then stick to that budget. And then it gives your spouse a sense of control, and that it's not constant negotiation, or it might creep up to 28 nights out of 30. So that's another way to go in for the long term.
You referenced a point in the mid-90s when you were killing it professionally, but the net impact of that was challenges on the personal life front. What was kind of the toughest moment, and what did you learn going through it?
Well, we had this great marriage counselor in about that time frame. And then he got me to see that I was a pretty systematic liar, that I would say family's the most important thing. And yet it's 6 o'clock, we've got dinner, plans at home, and then some exec or some other employee comes in with some crisis. And there was no question in my mind that I would stay with that employee as opposed to say, sorry, I've got dinner plans, I'm going home.
And would your wife call you out on it at the time?
I think she just was disappointed. But it was made worse by preaching sort of the virtue of, family first, et cetera. And so I was, essentially a hypocrite or not living with my values. And so then this counselor got me to see why I felt that professional obligation, how hard it was to disappoint that professional obligation. And then I could see that that was too extreme. And so 2 things came out of that. One, I was more honest about, both family and work are important, and it's, trying to make some compromises there. And then actually do less of that. In other words, more often come home and allow myself to occasionally be disappointing at work. Like there'd be some great event I should go to and not go to it. Back to having the budget about the number of nights out. But I would say the big one for me out of this was the value of surprising candor. There's so many things that are conventional wisdom that we just say because we don't think that much about them, as opposed to we live by them. And this was one of the first.